Hello and welcome to the weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, a look at the highlights. 10-day workshop on research methodology commences. Human Resource Development Center organizes community engagement workshop. And Professor Shafi Shok delivers extension lecture in Institute of Kashmir Studies. Now the details of these events with your host Omar Malik. A 10-day workshop on research methodology in social sciences commenced in the University of Kashmir. The Department of Social Work is organizing this workshop. Coordinator, Department of Social Work, Dr. Adil Bashir, while welcoming the guests, presented a brief of the activities that the department is carrying on.
Department of Social Work is at forefront in organizing these seminars and workshops of academic in nature, which are very important so far as the academics and research is concerned in the university. The department has assumed as a role of a trainer. It has been offering training to various state and central government departments like State Resource Center for Women, Jammu and Kashmir Social Welfare Board, Education Department, Health. It has been continuously organizing trainings for these departments, and department has also been selected as a monitoring institution for assessing the National Food Security Act, and has been continuously submitting the report to the ministry vis-a-vis the impact of the Food Security Act in the state. In addition to that, it has been involved in many extension activities. One of its nationally recognized project of USHA, where it has trained many women, and by now they are generating their livelihood on their own. It has conducted research in some of the key areas sanctioned by the Indian Council of Medical Research.
Dean Social Science Professor Asifa Jan said that the university trains its students for research purposes from the post-graduation level.
I would like to place it on record that my faculty members are well versed with the tools and techniques. Like of late, we do have qualitative and quantitative research techniques, and my faculty is well versed with all qualitative and quantitative techniques. Even at PG level, there in the Department of Political Science, we do have qualitative and quantitative research designed, Professor Joshi Saab, for PG students. Means well in advance, we do train our students at PG level how to undertake the integrated PhD or MPhil or direct PhD program in the University of Kashmir. Because in higher education, the need of the hour, even at this point of time, is to train not cutting and pasting, but to train the scholars, to train the students how to undertake research proposals.
Saying that there is a shift in academics, Director UGC Human Resource Development Center, Professor Shabir Ahmed Bhatt, said that universities have to embrace and assimilate this shift.
These kinds of conferences provide a platform to learn from each other, to interact, and which ultimately leads to a kind of an experience. Experience always leads to knowledge, and knowledge leads to stimulation. We as students are in the serious business of learning, and from an intellectual perspective, we are all in the state of stimulation. Ladies and gentlemen, times are changing exponentially, and we are witnessing an incredible shift in the minds of the people, the way they think, and the advances that are taking place in science, technology, and in all areas across the globe. Lectures are delivered and heard from one corner and heard in the another corner. Research is conducted and published in multiple languages, and the simple concept of stored information has its own highway. And I believe that in this kind of new paradigm, universities have a huge responsibility. Universities as a neutral ground for the exchange of ideas has to provide a uniquely appropriate setting for beginning this journey. We have to create an opportunity for the academia and scholars to be able to share their ideas, discuss and deliberate, and see what's ailing this economy, what's ailing this state, what's ailing all of us.
Delivering the keynote address, Professor P.C. Joshi, Head Department of Anthropology at Delhi University, impressed upon the prospective scholars to do evidence-based research.
This is the time when we are looking at evidence, whether it is social science research or it is clinical science research. In clinical science, you are of course talking about evidence-based medicine. In social sciences, we are talking about evidence-based research. And it is more important for social sciences to have evidence-based research because in social sciences, we deal with things which are quite common around us. And we always have some kind of a crude analytical ideas about why things are happening. Now this is what I am trying to tell you is that sometimes we think things in a particular manner, and we think because we are also human beings, so we know everything about human behavior. First of all, like human behavior as an individual and human behavior in society are two different things. Emil Durkheim has told us that social facts are different than the individual facts. So even the social facts, about social facts, we carry certain notions with us. Now research methodology is an exercise, is a way through which we should collect evidence.
Acting Vice Chancellor Professor Nilofer Khan said that she is impressed with the resource persons selected for this workshop and also the techniques that scholars would be exposed to.
As much as students are involved in different activities, these types of workshops, they learn a lot and get more interested in their research work. Once more, I'll say that you are so lucky to have all these resource persons, to have Professor Joshi, which we never had any, opportunity to listen to their, speeches and to listen to their lecture. As I was going through this schedule, you will see at the end, you will be acquainted with the various participatory methods in research. Of course, a very important one, and I'm so happy. Normally, it's not included in any research workshops. I'm happy that Dr. Adil and his team has taken care of it, and I'm sure that you'll be learning a lot in this workshop, which you'll utilize in future.
Assistant Professor Dr. Waqar Amin proposed the vote of thanks. The Human Resource Development Center organized a 3-day workshop on community engagement for the newly recruited assistant professors who were participants of General Orientation course. The workshop was held in collaboration with Mahatma Gandhi National Council for Rural Education. In his welcome address, course coordinator Dr. Muhammad Ishaq Gir highlighted the importance of community engagement for newly recruited teachers in mitigating the problems of community.
The general orientation course per se is aimed at capacity building, at enhancing the knowledge, the skills, the competencies, the efficiency, and the motivation of teachers who have been newly inducted into the higher education system. And then we want to take the community outreach and extension to a next level, to the higher level, wherein it focuses upon the engagement, not just awareness and not just extension activities, but practically engaging with the community members, trying to identify their problems, trying to address their issues and concerns vis-a-vis development or disaster management, etc. And how best our teachers who already belong to a diverse, a heterogeneous group, who belong to diverse areas of expertise, can utilize their skills and competencies and abilities in identifying and mitigating those problems, and in association with the community leaders, in association with the trained community members, how we can address those problems and how we can identify those problems. So that is the basic crux of this issue, and where inshallah we'll be conducting more and more such courses in future.
Director UGC Human Resource Development Center Professor Shabir Ahmed Butt, in his introductory remarks, said that the community engagement means not only participatory approach but is also action-oriented.
It's practical and experiential. Community engagement in higher education is one where substantial networks, partnerships, communication media, and activities between higher education and community are fostered at all levels. There is an inevitable and symbiotic relationship between the communities and higher education institutions. Community engagement can be a game changer for rural communities. Ladies and gentlemen, through traditional and outreach programs are desperately trying to bring in the desired outcomes, but they are not just fulfilling to bridge the gap between education and public life. What is needed today is a pragmatic approach that extended beyond service and outreach to actual engagement. What we mean by this will be clear to you in next 3 days. Therefore, the requirement of today is an enlarged, engaged model of university outreach, which is far more collaborative than the customary conventional approach. Therefore, it's about time for passionate professionals across the country to synergize and expand the rural management goal extensively. There is an urgent need to rise above the odds and create an awareness and actually engage with the rural communities for an inclusive growth. That's where higher education institutions can play a very significant role.
Faculty member of Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education, Dr. Syed Zahra, informed participants that her organization has already reviewed the syllabi of school education, and now higher educational institutions, particularly universities, should engage in community engagement.
So as for the concerns of other departments, we are right now acting right from the 0 to higher level as well. Like with SIs, most of the people I think know me. We already reviewed the syllabi of from 0 to 12 as well with the Director of School Education for this experiential learning as a community part of the social sustainable development or an engagement of the community. Same we are doing with the departments of higher education as well. We are taking it in the research as well. So it will take some more time, but it is a start of, let us start from the universities, from the higher secondaries, from schools. It's a kind of revolution. So we have recently reviewed all the policies, in which one policy was National Policy of Education 2019. It was an order for MHRD to all of the colleges and schools to review that policy so that we can see wherein we can exactly fit these community engagement programs. So the thing was that it is a late, we can understand it's a late from India. It was a concept of 1936 from Gandhiji when he was back from US. But we start in 2019, it's a quite late, but it's a startup. We believe that every college, every university in Jammu and Kashmir, like other universities throughout country, are supporting us.
Responding to Mahatma Gandhi National Council for Rural Education, Acting Vice Chancellor Professor Nilofer Khan said that the university has already started community engagement programs.
As Dr. Zahra was, saying that we need to put in some of the credits. You will be glad to know that we have choice-based credit system in our university, and I am sure I am from home science and I teach extension and communication. Well versed with rural participatory methods. We even have a practical component of that, where our students go to rural areas and we do proper mapping of rural resources, whether it's health oriented, education oriented, social welfare, whatever it is, and our students have to mandatory take 10 women or 10 girls, we, whatever we assign them, and they have to educate them pertaining to various schemes and if they can avail them, like that. I'm so happy that this center has taken a lead in taking whatever training we give to our, college teachers in-house. We are also, orienting them towards the various activities or various responsibilities which we have towards the community.
The Institute of Kashmir Studies organized an extension lecture of eminent professor of literature, Professor Shafi Shauk. Assistant Professor, Institute of Kashmir Studies, Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim Wani, introduced the guests to the scholars.
A linguist, a critic, a teacher of teachers, and an academic par excellence. After an illustrious career spanning 30 years at the University of Kashmir, Professor Shauk retired as Dean Faculty of Arts in 2010. He has authored, edited, and translated around 100 books in Kashmiri, English, Urdu, and Hindi. In 2018, he published a 1400-page Kashmiri dictionary, Kashir Luga, which is a landmark work.
Emphasizing the need of inviting prominent scholars to deliver special talks on literature, Director, Institute of Kashmir, Professor Muhammad Yusuf Ganai, said that these lectures would be archived in the form of digital library.
We have started the recording or inviting the prominent scholars from the region. And earlier we had Professor Bande. Today we have invited a towering personality in the field of literature, son of the soil, Professor Shauk. He is known even in the remotest areas of the state. So this is an honor to us, and all this are doing basically to train our new progeny, our research scholars, and we will raise a digital library at the institute. So anytime our young generation, our young scholars would be benefited by listening these lectures.
Speaking on the occasion, Professor Shafi Shauk cautioned scholars and students to distinguish between history and poetry.
I must make it clear that literature, particularly poetry, can never be history. Poetry is poetry when it is fantasy, when it is imagination, when it is far away from history in the factual world. And history can never be history if it tends to become poetry. And unfortunately, many of our histories written are merely poetry, not histories. They are fantasy, phantasmagoria, and some imaginative legend. For instance, Raj's Rangani, deliberately being represented as the most authentic history. It is not a history. It is just a long poem. Poem based on fiction, legend, myth. So, but at the same time, the two disciplines of human inquisition, history and literature, are inseparable. Inseparable in the sense that we have, as I said, we have so many histories which are poetical and so many poems that are historical in nature.
He told participants that if any one of them wants to write poetry, they should base it in historical context, but cautioned them that whatever history has been written is an individual narrative of the past.
And when you are resolved to have some authentic history, you cannot simply rely on the recorded facts. The recorded facts mislead you, always mislead you, because history is never a record of facts. History is an individual, every history, whatever history has been written so far, is individual narrative of the past that is no more with us now, but we still reinterpret it. So every history is personal narrative, personal point of view. And if you want to produce good poetry, it has to have some historical context. For instance, if in modern times, in contemporary times, people again delve in simply romanticism, lyricism, and erato-mystic kind of phantasmagoria, that is not representative poetry. Tomorrow, after one decade or 2 decades, it will be simply ignored, thrown as garbage. The whole poetry that is being written now, because most of it, 99% of it, is irrelevant. Irrelevant in the sense it has no historical context.
Dear viewers, Mr. Rahmatullah Malik, one of the most dedicated driver in the transport section of the university, passed away this week. Hailing from Bandipura village, he worked for more than 30 years in the university. He is survived by 4 children and a wife. In other sad news, Mr. Sanjay Kaul, senior head assistant in the examination wing, passed away on Friday. The University of Kashmir held condolence meet to mourn the death of its 2 employees and expresses grief over the sad demise of Mr. Rahmatullah and Mr. Sanjay.
मैं पूरी उम्मीद रखता हूँ कि यूनिवर्सिटी के रूल्स के लिहाज से जो भी होगा दोनों के लिए, रहमतुल्लाह साहब के लिए भी और संजय कौल साहब के लिए भी, वो हम लोग करेंगे. और जहाँ तक इस बात का सवाल है, मैंने कल भी वहाँ पे कहा कि ठीक है, इनके बच्चे हैं, उनकी मदर हैं, तो जो भी सपोर्ट यूनिवर्सिटी से होगा हम लोग करते रहेंगे और उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आनी चाहिए. और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि ये 2 जो हमारे बीच से गए हैं उनको जन्नत में जगह मिलेगी और जो इनके फैमिलीज़ हैं उनको सब्र का मादा मिले, वो सब्र करे और अपने जो उन्होंने लूज़ किया है, हमसे ज़्यादा उनको उसका फीलिंग होगी. तो हमारे तरफ से और हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से मैं उन सबको कंडोलेंस कहता हूँ.
दोनों एग्जामिनेशन में काम कर रहे थे, बड़े बैकबोन जिनको हम कहते थे. मैं इससे पहले जो हमारा ड्राइवर अभी रहमतुल्लाह, वो भी रहमतुल्लाह मलिक जो इस दुनिया से चले गए, उनके भी मैं फ़ोटो देख रहा था, किसी ग्रुप ने किसी में डाले थे, तो मैं देख रहा था कि वो बर्फ़ के किन पहाड़ों में और कैसे वो गाड़ी चला रहे थे. वो तकरीबन 20-25 फीट ऊंचा बर्फ़ था, शायद लद्दाख का, गुरेज का था, वो कहीं का फ़ोटोग्राफ था. तो मैं वो देख रहा था, मैं कह रहा था कि कितना स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्कर वो भी अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो भी एग्ज़ामिनेशन में ही थे. जैसे कि आपको पता है कि हमें एग्ज़ामिनेशन में दूर दराज इलाकों में जाना पड़ता है, तो एक हमारे फील्ड वर्कर्स होते हैं जो इतने स्ट्रांग और इतने डेडिकेटेड वर्कर्स होते हैं. तो ये उनकी खूबियाँ थी, चाहे वो हमारे रहमतुल्लाह थे या संजय जी थे, दोनों अल्लाह ताला उनको अपना मुकाम अता करे.
आज हमसे जुदा हो गया, जिसकी वजह से जो मैंने अर्ज़ किया कि हम सब उस दुख में उसकी फैमिली के साथ शरीक हैं और बराबर उसी दुख का इजहार करते हैं.
We also have a notice from the All India Confederation of the Blind organization. This organization has established Krishna Kumari Verma Memorial Award for outstanding blind students. The award will be given to those blind students who secure the first or second position in their postgraduate examination in order of merit in any university recognized by the University Grants Commission. The last date of sending in nomination for this award is October 31st, 2019. That's all for today's episode. Log on to our website emmrckashmir.com, where you can check the latest episode of The Quest. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, that is KU Television. Do send us your valuable suggestions at our email address, that is quest@emmrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. There is no single cross-culturally valid standard of rationality. Rationality is relative.